Football's coming home, but apparently the writer of this first story isn't. Now, does football ever take precedence over your partner? Let's talk about it. G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee and welcome back to another episode of r/AmITheA asshole. Now, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and get ready for some spicy stories. Let's go. Am I the asshole for causing drama during an important football game? So last weekend, I, female 27, ended feeling a wee bit poorly with what turned out to be appendicitis. We were away for the weekend with my partner, male 39, so I had surgery at a hospital 3 to 4 hours away from home. I had a small complication during surgery, so I had to stay until Wednesday, which was yesterday. My partner returned to work on Monday, but he came back to pick me up. The timing was bad because there was an important football game yesterday, and it was really important for my partner to watch it. I am not English, so I don't quite get the importance, but it's a big deal for him and so important. I wanted to make sure he'd see the game. I suggested booking a room near the hospital so he wouldn't miss it due to the drive, but he wanted to see the game at a friend's place. He said he'd make it. While we were waiting to get me discharged, he was getting agitated because it was taking a long time. He had to wait outside, so he was in his car the whole time because of restrictions at the hospital. After a couple of hours, he sent me a text that he had to leave or he'd miss the game. I begged him not to leave and reminded him I could book a hotel, but he left without me, and luckily made it on time to see the start of the game. He said he'd come by to pick me up tomorrow, today, instead. The hospital wouldn't let me stay another night or leave alone. Luckily, one of my friends came to get me in the end. She didn't get to the hospital until late, and we got back to London around 2 a.m. The whole time I was trying to call and text my partner, but he only said we could talk about it today. The whole evening I was texting and calling my partner, ever since that moment he left me at the hospital. He only sent me one WhatsApp back that said he'd pick me up later, but wanted to see the game. When I got home in the night, he was so angry at me. He said I was the most selfish asshole for constantly ringing and texting him during the game, and that I ruined the game for him and embarrassed him in front of his friends. He said he cannot even look at me and that I bring so much drama with me that it's humiliating to him. I feel at a complete loss. I think I might be the asshole for not understanding the cultural significance of football and asking my boyfriend to do a completely unreasonable drive to pick me up. But on the other hand, we could have watched the game in a hotel room and I wouldn't have been left alone in a hospital in another country. Am I the asshole? The only asshole in this situation is your boyfriend for leaving you alone in a hospital in another country and abandoning you before you get discharged, just so he can watch the football. That is never an okay thing to do. He's a dickhead for doing that. He's the asshole, not you. Not the asshole OP. Now in the comments, Thrill Doctor 1 says, "Get out of this relationship now. You are not the asshole. Your partner, however, is a world-class giant asshole. He put a game over you. A game. He wasn't playing in it. He wanted to watch other people play a game, leaving you stranded at hospital, and then he had the audacity to be mad at you for interrupting his watching a game. Dump him now. You mean nothing to him, and he has proven that. You don't have a partner. You have a monster." I totally agree, and I'm English. Yes, it's coming home, and it's an amazing achievement for our country, but I would never abandon my partner at the hospital, just so as not to miss the first minutes of the game. He could have listened to the radio whilst driving you home until he could join his friends. He is unbelievably selfish. You cannot depend upon him when you need him, so he's definitely not a partner, nor partnership material. Yes, OP, please think about this. 1. He abandoned you in another town with no way home, that he knew of when he chose just to leave. 2. He told you a game is more important than you are. 3. He told you his friends are more important than you are. 4. He told you his pleasure is more important than your needs or feelings. 5. He's angry at you for being upset about 1 through 4. And 6, he has convinced you that 1 to 5, his anger at being called out, are your fault, taking no responsibility for his selfish choices and bad behaviors. Please, please leave him and get therapy to help you relearn that you are important too. And good luck. I'm English, not the asshole. Your partner is a huge asshole. You can watch games on replay. You can watch games on your phone. If your partner needs help to be discharged from the hospital safely, then a football game should never take precedence. He sounds horrible. I'm not even going to address him being angry with you because you messaged him during the game, because it's so far out of line, it makes me furious. I think you should seriously consider whether you want to continue this relationship, given how little he appears to care for your well-being. Our next post is by user SmyEyes, titled, Am I the asshole for not telling my parents that I'm going to a college, states and states away from them? So I, 17 male, am going to college next month. My parents are strict. Their rules are, no dating out unless in a group, no swearing, no girls allowed over or going to her house, no phone in the bedroom, no phone at night, no passwords, social media has to be checked by a parent, keep location on live 360, curfew 9:30 p.m, no whispering, and if I want to watch something, they have to review it first to see if it has a lot of inappropriate content, etc. Last year, I got a girlfriend, 18 female, and we've been friends since we were 12. She wasn't allowed over. If we went out on a date, it'd have to be with friends. I bought condoms a couple months after dating. My parents found them. They confiscated them and grounded me for a month. My girlfriend bought more for us because we still found our way around the rules, and no teen wants to have a baby accident just because adults are naive. When I was ungrounded, I got a job and bought my own phone. I figured if I showed responsibility by getting my own phone and paying the bill monthly, my parents would not treat me so childishly. They then got mad at me and said the same rules they had about the phone they bought me will apply to this one. Still couldn't use it in the bedroom, had to leave it in the living room at night, still had it checked frequently, and all of that. The most confusing thing about parents is they know their children will be considered adults at 18, but they shelter them and are overly strict with them as they get closer to that age. How will they function as adults when they have no sense of independence? Because I thought you were supposed to gradually loosen the reins as your kids get closer to 18. But I guess being power trips is more comforting. I live in New York, but I applied to several colleges in Texas, Louisiana, California, because I have family in those states. I paid for all of my admission fees, I have aid from FAFSA. I did apply for some colleges in New York because I needed info and documents from my parents, so after they'd upload it, I'd saved it to my laptop. I decided on UH, Uni of Houston. Fall season starts 2 weeks after I turn 18, so my parents can't really do anything. I spoke to my third cousin in Houston, and I'm gonna be with her. I wasn't gonna tell my parents until August got closer, but they found out recently. They are angry. My dad doesn't want to let me go, and I told him I'll be 18, so it's not his choice. They told me that I need to be close to home in case something happens. I said we have tons of extended family in Houston, and I'm going to be with a family member. My parents called me a selfish brat, then walked away from me while I was still trying to defend myself. We haven't had another conversation about it since. It's basically just silent treatment. I get why they're upset or worried because they don't want me far away, and I do love them, but it should not be a surprise that I'd do anything to get far away. Your parents just sound like typical controlling parents that don't want their kid to grow up, and they always want to have power trips over those said kids. Unfortunately, you're turning 18 soon, so that won't be their choice to have control over you anymore. And so no, I don't think you're the asshole for not telling your parents that you're going to a college that is very far away from them. I think you deserve your freedom from these people. Not the asshole. Now in the comments, Blue Beached Whale says, "Oh honey, not the asshole. What do they expect? They aren't mad that you're leaving, they're mad you will no longer be controlled by them. The second you're out of that house, a world of weight will come off your shoulders. Go live the life you deserve, and have the life you deserve. But be careful, they still have time to sabotage your going. Call the university and ask that if there are any calls to withdraw you, that they contact you. They can put a note in your file. And also, if you have a bank account that also has one of your parents on it, empty it out now, except for $5. Establish a new account once you're 18. And Gen X IA says, not the asshole. As the adult child of controlling parents, run and don't look back. You won't regret it. It'll be hard, but with hard work and determination, it'll be worth it. Good luck. My parents are just like OPs, except only with me. My brothers were allowed a lot more freedoms. Run and don't look back is exactly what I did, and it was the best decision I ever made. It was hard, OP is right. When you're sheltered like that, you don't know how to handle a lot of situations. But there was no way I was going to go back, so I figured out how to do a lot of things very fast. Our next post is by user EmbarrassedBit8909, titled, Am I the asshole for lying about being pregnant to my family to protect my husband? I'm really sorry I didn't add this before, this post has really blown up, but anyway, content warning, transphobia. So my husband is a transgender man, and we've always wanted to start a family together. I have a huge fear of pregnancy, so he offered to carry the baby. It was an insane process. He had to stop taking testosterone for a long time, but he was amazing throughout the whole process, and I did everything in my power to help make him feel comfortable. None of my family knows that he is transgender. Homophobic, transphobic, all the phobics. But our friends know. He posted an ultrasound picture to his private Instagram, not knowing that my sister follows him on a burner account. Well, she saw the photo and told my whole family. They were furious that I wouldn't tell them. Our plan was to say that we adopted. They assumed I was the one pregnant and blew up at me. So I just let it go and rolled with the lie because I wasn't going to out my husband. The first couple of months I'd let them visit. Eventually I'd start eating big meals and purposely bloating myself to the point of discomfort so I looked pregnant. They'd remark around the 6-month mark that I was remarkably small, but I just played it off. Eventually I couldn't lie any longer, so I looked for every excuse in the book to not see my family. I turned down the offer of baby showers, gender reveal parties, anything that would require us seeing each other. Luckily, my family lived an hour away, and we all live busy lifestyles, so them randomly visiting wasn't an issue. The one time they did pop in unexpectedly, we were out of the house. If they FaceTimed, I made a point to be in bed feeling horribly sick, so I couldn't give a bump update. I lied my ass off, and they just thought that I had a rough pregnancy. My husband gave birth a year ago and went straight back on the testosterone, and now we're happy as ever. My family have met our daughter, and they adore her. A week ago, after an argument between myself and a friend, said friend decided to out my husband by messaging my family and included proof. They did it by adding everybody to a group chat, posting screenshots, and basically the whole story. Then saying, I'll leave you all to discuss. Then they left the chat and blocked me and my husband. In a transphobic rage, my mother raced to my home and all but beat my front door down. It wasn't pretty. I had to call the cops, I've been disowned, but that hasn't stopped the daily calls and texts coming from my parents, aunts, uncles, siblings, etc., leaving nasty transphobic slurs on my voicemail and other hateful crap. I ended up crying to my friend yesterday, who told me that I should have been more honest with my family, as it would have saved me a lot of heartache. That, or said we miscarried and then adopted later. I'm not happy that things played out the way they did, I just feel so sad now. Maybe it was wrong to lie to my family, but I feel like I had no choice. Edit, because I'd figured I'd put this in the main text, my husband has always encouraged me to maintain a relationship with my family, However, it was mostly for his sake. Personally, I mentally checked out years ago. But when they met him, they welcomed him with open arms and treated him like a son. Yes, it was conditional on him being presumed cisgender, however, we never intended for them to find out. He felt a familial love that he's never had from his own family before, which is why I kept my relationship with my parents at his request. If it weren't for him, I most likely would have cut them off a long time ago. And I'm sad that this has happened, but most of that sadness is for my husband rather than for me. Also, the friend in this story who outed him is obviously no longer a friend and never will be. The other friend who said that I should have told the truth is on thin ice. Now in the comments, Iopoly says, "Your ex-friend is a despicable excuse for a human. Block your family in every possible way and block that ex-friend too. What your ex-friend did is truly reprehensible, and they did it because they wanted to hurt you and your husband in the worst way they possibly could. Your family dynamic is none of their damn business, and their behavior is disgusting. You and your husband don't have to justify anything to anyone about your relationship or how you choose to have a child. It's no one else's damn business. Congratulations to you and your husband on your child, and I hope you both come through this and carry on your lives knowing who truly loves and supports you." My jaw actually dropped reading that your friend, after an argument, decided to go bat crap effing nuclear and forcibly out your husband to a bunch of known phobics. Aside from being a total dick move, that is an insanely dangerous thing to do to another human being. Even if the argument had you totally in the wrong, you don't just out somebody. Wow, I'm absolutely furious on your behalf. And cause I'm totally petty, I'd post screenshots of the group chat y'all were dropped into and the abuse your family subsequently received. Then say that you'll leave all your mutuals to discuss and block anyone that comes to their defense. What reprehensible behavior. I sincerely hope you never let this person back into your life. And yeah, there's the whole "you shouldn't have lied" aspect. But people who know. I've lied my ass off to protect myself from bigots who very well could have done awful crap to me in situations that I couldn't escape. A stranger's comforts probably don't mean much, but I don't blame you for lying at all. I think you did what was best while respecting your husband's wishes, based on other comments where you said he wanted you to have a relationship with your family. I also think you should fortify your home. Doorbell cameras, security cams, motion-activated floodlights, remote activation dash cams, the absolute works. You've got a child to protect now, and you may need footage of the bullcrap they pull down the road. Wishing you, your husband, and your daughter the absolute best. And our next post is by user Diage868, titled, "Am I the asshole for how I handled my creepy coworker trying to get me to go out with him alone by pretending that it was a group thing?" I have a coworker, I'll call him Keith, who I feel like is starting to cross a line with me. He's always talking about his wife and how awful she is, and I'm always tuning him out or telling him I don't want to hear it, because it sounds like some midlife crisis crap, where he's trying to have an affair. Last week, he asked me to happy hour. I said maybe, is he getting a group together? And he was super vague and dodged the question, saying, "We'll see who comes out. You never know with these things, and people having other stuff going on." I asked if he invited anyone else. My spidey senses were tingling, and he said, "Yeah, some of the guys are on the team." I said, "Cool. Who?" He said that he just asked around. I was getting a super strong feeling he was trying to pretend that he tried to plan a group event, but what a coincidence. Only I showed up. I could have said no, I wasn't interested, but I honestly was feeling a little petty and wanted to catch him out in a lie. So I said that I didn't know about going out. It'd be fun to hang out with the group, but my dog was feeling sick, and I didn't feel good leaving him alone for long. I then went around to pretty much the whole team and was like, "Yo, there's a happy hour at Patty's, 5 p.m. You coming? Keith's planning it. Did you already hear about it from him?" And got like 15 people saying Keith didn't mention anything to them yet. About 10 of them were down to hang out. I texted Keith to say that my dog seemed okay, my roommate was taking care of him, so I was down to go to happy hour. So at 5, a whole group made their way to the bar, Keith included. I started to drive to the bar, and then I got a text from my roommate that my dog puked in my bed and I had to deal with it. A white lie. I guess Keith had to go out with a bunch of guys we work with, who thought that he'd organized the happy hour. I know he isn't the type to want to hang out with coworkers outside of work, so I feel like that was a bit of karma for trying to be two-faced with me. He ended up having to do the thing he was pretending to be doing. He told me the day later that it was rude of me to invite an additional number of people and then dip out. I said sorry, I thought it was a team happy hour like he was saying. Anyway, I couldn't make it because my dog was sick. Am I the asshole for being petty instead of direct? No, absolutely not. That's hilarious, and I think you've done the right thing in this situation. You called him out on his lie, he got mad that he actually had to follow through and hang out with a bunch of people and not cheat on his wife. It's obvious he wasn't so subtly trying to cover up the fact that he was going through a midlife crisis and trying to cheat with you. Unfortunately, that's not your problem, that's his problem, and he can be mad all he wants, but he's a dick when he takes that out on you, OP. I think you handled your creepy coworker in a very good way in this situation, so I'm gonna say not the asshole. Now in the comments, Mama of Twin Dragons says, not the asshole. Petty, sure, but screw Keith. He got exactly what he deserved, and hopefully got the message to leave you alone. Avoid that asshole like the plague. Slimy guys like that can be dangerous. And sometimes you need to be petty. Particularly the type of petty that is only petty if the other person is in the wrong. If Keith wasn't being an asshole, then what OP did wouldn't have been a problem for him. Not the asshole. Exactly. In the, non-existent in this case, event that he had been telling the truth, you'd have done him a favor by encouraging the team to come out and join his happy hour get-together. The only way this hurts or inconveniences him is if he was lying all along, which he obviously was. It's really a perfect solution. Not the asshole, this is hilarious. But if his behavior continues, you probably will need to be more direct with him and possibly escalate to HR if he becomes angry and aggressive, as I suspect he will. Time to CYA. Start documenting everything. What he says, screenshots of texts and emails, who witnessed him saying it, date and time, etc. Hopefully he leaves you alone, but if he doesn't, it's best to have as much proof as you can. And OP replies, I already went to HR about something else and they are super useless. I might as well send them an email to get it on paper, but I'm not expecting much. I actually have been really direct with him in the past, and he doesn't get it. So I felt like maybe pettiness might make more of a point than just saying I wasn't interested, because that doesn't seem to have clicked for him. But perhaps a super awkward happy hour would. Not the asshole. This was a stroke of genius and so well played. Hopefully he gets the message, but if not, I suggest going to HR soon and filing a quiet, non-impactful complaint to state that Keith has been behaving somewhat inappropriately, and you're planning on making your disinterests very clear. This could help you avoid backlash and preps HR to deal with the situation should it escalate. Again, bravo OP. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Friendly reminder that I'm now posting daily on my second channel, Markee 2. If you want to laugh at memes with me, link is down in the description below. On phone, you just click that little arrow underneath the video. I also want to say thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your names are currently floating down the screen here, and I love to see all of you guys. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you see yourself on screen, I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back for being amazing as always, and thank you for supporting me again. I do hope that you guys have a good day, night, sleep, whatever it is you're up to. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.